My name is Gabriel Prawl. I'm president of ILWU Local 52 in Seattle. I'm also president of the Seattle chapter of the A-Field at Randolph, and I sit as one of the vice president of the Washington State Labor Council.
And he's come down from Seattle to this rally against gentrification and also against the privatization of the Port of Oakland, where the John Fisher, the A's owner, wants to put a stadium. Well, so Gabriel, why don't you talk about this issue of gentrification? Seattle, the headquarters of Amazon, they want to develop it, and how are longshore workers being affected by this drive for gentrification and stadiums and that kind of development?
So, Steve, just like what's happening right here in Oakland, that the A's wants to build a stadium right on the terminal where dock workers work, and industrial area where you have a diverse group of people that makes livable wages. We are experiencing the same thing in Seattle. In the Solar District, Billionaire Chris Handsome is working hard to try to push an initiative to go on the ballot so they can vote to take over industrial land, which is close to the terminal, which will cost lots of good-paying jobs, union jobs. And in that same area, it doesn't only affect longshoremen, but it also affects small shops. It affects Teamsters. I mean, variety of union jobs at stake at this time. And the whole thing is not only the stadium they want to build condos, and it goes from there on. It all stretched out to take over the whole industrial area.
And this de-industrialization or to gentrification, are longshoremen and workers going to be able to afford these condos?
No way, no way. Seattle, condos. You're talking about a one-bedroom condo could run you $2,000 to $3,000. It's ridiculous. And the same people that work in that area won't be able to afford those jobs. Those type of condos that they're trying to build. And not only that, they will get rid of the jobs, because if you build, the time it's going to take for them to build a stadium or build condos in that area is going to disrupt the movement of cargo. And then what the company will do, they'll move. They'll move, take their business somewhere else, and there goes lots of jobs, lots of good union jobs, livable wage jobs, pension jobs. And sometimes we got unions that not even look at the whole effect of what this is going to do. They're on their own self-interest, and they might get the contract to build this, and that's just a temporary issue, because when the stadiums are built, they're gone. Longshoremen is a lifetime jobs there. People work there for the rest of their life till they retire. Their kids come in, get the same opportunity, their grandkids. This is a lifetime thing that goes on when it comes to union jobs on the waterfront.
And while the billionaires want to build stadiums and gentrification, working people, they're homeless in the Bay Area. There are thousands of people, tents. Is that the situation in Seattle as well?
Yes, I'm not seeing in my lifetime the worst of homelessness. You're talking about homeless students. Last Saturday we just did a back to school drive. We try to help some of these homeless students get book supplies and clothing and even shoes so they can be ready for school. I don't see none of those billionaires doing anything like that. In fact, all they're doing is taking away from the community. They're taking away from the young people. They're taking away opportunities to get into good union jobs. And those that are just started getting into union jobs, they are looking 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
And these developers, in the Bay Area, they convince the building trades leadership and the Alameda Labor Council that they should support this stadium because it's going to bring economic gain and keep the baseball team here. Is that what's going on in Seattle as well, that the developers are spending money to influence the labor movement?
They are spending a lot of money to do that, and you got even union people that cooperate with this type of stuff because they getting a payoff that doesn't not even much to survive in as a lifetime. But I tell you what, our mayor, Jenny Durkins, is issue a letter to the city council addressing that issue and especially taking the side of not getting rid of industrial property for no stadium. You know, in Seattle, they have an option. They can go rebuild the Key Arena, which is located in the Seattle Center, and we'll fix their problem of the stadium. But that's not the idea. They not just want a stadium. They want to build condos, shops, businesses, and everything that's paid low income wages, $15 an hour. They're not going to pay what union jobs start. In Longshore, they're starting out at about $30 an hour. That's a new somebody just coming into the industry. I mean, they're not going to pay that kind of money. So they're not really profitable for the community. They're not really building up the community. What they're doing is taking away and filling their pockets. The city council and the King County Labor Council, usually the Martin Luther King Labor, has voted to support them building in the Key Arena and not in the industrial area where union jobs are pretty much effective in making the community grow.
So in other words, in Seattle, the labor movement is saying, if you're going to build a stadium, build it where you have the land and you're not going to affect the de-industrialization of the port and threaten maritime jobs.
That's correct.
Was there a fight over that or a debate on that?
It has to be a debate, but it's not enough for the billionaire. He's putting out a whole lot of money and trying to advertise. In fact, I went to a conference, an A. Round conference, and I met this one brother, sister that's been working with Chris Ansom, and she was carrying around a plan showing, they're going to build a bridge or overpass to go over so it won't disrupt the movement of cargo. Well, wait a minute. How long is it going to take to build that overpass? You think the employer is going to wait till that overpass is built so they can continue to make money on the waterfront? No. They will move their cargo, and before that overpass is built, a lot of jobs will be gone somewhere else.
That sounds like the plan of John Fisher to build a gondola to the A Stadium, some gondola to fill up the stadium, because they have railroad lines, they have all kinds of transportation lines in a major port that you can't disrupt without destroying the port.
Exactly.
But what is happening in this country that working people really are struggling to survive? They're protecting their union jobs, and yet the billionaires are not only destroying jobs, but getting support from parts of the labor movement for that.
And it's kind of ridiculous, and I would say a misunderstanding of what's going on when it comes to the part of those that are supporting issues like that. They self-interest. They're just thinking about just today, and we as the real labor movement, we think of the future of our working class people, the future of those coming behind us. And to keep this labor movement strong, we have to come together. And people need to wake up and see what's going on, because obviously those that are supporting that are not awake. They are sleeping, and everything is happening around them. And I would say they're not part of the solution, they're part of the problem.
So this gentrification of the ports and how it's been threatening maritime jobs, how has that affected you and other longshore workers in Seattle?
Well, talking from experience, back when they built these two stadiums, the Mariner Stadium and also the Seahawks Stadium, and and then came on a hotel, right close to ports of America, and also TTI. But looking at the future of that terminal, it's shut down now. That's what gentrification and building a stadium close to the terminal does to the effect of labor. I remember times when I was going to work and the traffic is so bad because of the game. Many times I thought about just pulling over and park. There was time the security had to open a different gate to let us in, the gate where the truck drivers usually use to let the workers in so they can get to work on time. I mean, this is what the gentrification does on the building of a terminal, a stadium close to the ports.
So this idea that this propaganda that's been put out by John Fisher, the A's, Dave Cavall, that they can have a stadium and a port at the same time, you have some direct experience with that effective port stadiums.
And that's correct. It doesn't work. It does not work. All it does is create lots of jobs. And I haven't seen any job that they provided that are union wages jobs. Up to today, it's not. And the thing about it is these stadiums are seasonable. It's not all full-time, all year long jobs. Longshore and union jobs, those are all year full-time jobs.
Well, I think John Fisher and the A's were offering franchises to sell peanuts at the stadium.
I mean, that's funny. It is very.
It's true.
I know. I'm saying it's funny when we think about it, because what that does to the community, what changes does that make to people in general? It doesn't create no good union jobs, and those are jobs for young little kids. If you ask me, it's not for a person that have a 5 family in his home or 3 or 4 family in his home. That he cannot survive off no jobs like that. I mean, but I'm sure union jobs, good union jobs, which create livable wages, insurance, medical, and retirement. Those are the jobs that we want coming out of the waterfront.
I'm Alma DeLucchi from Oakland, California.
And what is going on in Oakland? I mean, the longshoremen here, people in the community are worried about gentrification. They're not going to be able to survive in Oakland. What are the real conditions for the people in Oakland?
Well, we see it on our street and everywhere, except in the schools. You know, the school that in our neighborhood is practically all black and all Hispanic and other visitors people who are moving here. But it's the housing is amazing. So expensive that most normal people can't even buy. So it's pretty scary, as a matter of fact.
And the schools, they're opening up charters and charters are closing down. What is going on in public education?
Oh my God, I'm so sad about public education everywhere, actually, but especially in the limited income, children of color. It's just terrible. I volunteer at a local school. We have one social services person, and I asked her how many schools she had, and she said 18 schools that she services, so which means nobody gets service because she cannot possibly cover all of that. So our teachers are having to deal with kids who have issues, obviously, and they're just, it's really scary.
And it seems like there's a lot of money here for some people, and the owner of the A's, John Fisher, who also owns the Gap Corporation, Dave Cavall, who's the manager of the A's, is on the board of directors of rocket ship schools, and they run the KIPP charters. Do you think there's a connection between the gentrification developers and what's going on in the schools?
Absolutely, because people who live there have no money to remodel homes, and they see people coming into their community with really nice, newly remodeled homes with nice yards and everything, and it's really a shame. That's the word that comes to mind when I think about it.
So this idea of having a stadium in the waterfront, what's your opinion of that?
Well, I think it's really sad but you know, we have to fight. I mean, people are going to just bulldoze us if we don't stand up and say, no, this is enough. And I think that's where we should be right now.
Yeah, I'd like to say something. We just have, our street is covered with cars now along the sides of the streets because the young people can't move out of their folks' houses. It's too expensive to live in Oakland, and it's like $2,000 for a 1-bedroom apartment. And so, and every young person has a car, which is good, except there's 30 cars of young people who can't move out of Oakland on our street alone. They did street repair, finally, after 30 years. You know, it's a working class neighborhood. But, you know, unless people rally together, and go down to City Hall and demand services and demand a more democratic process to everything that's going on, things will continue to slide for the rich only, and the 99% of us will be, if we remain disorganized, they will chop us down. If we fight together, I think we can win.
Okay, why don't you introduce yourself?
My name is Bill DeLucchi, and I was a former chief steward at Kaiser Hospital in Oakland and worked there for 25 years. And Kaiser's still fighting. The nurses are always fighting, and the SEIU unions are always fighting, because Kaiser's $1 million company, but they won't pay their workers a fair share.
And they want to outsource and privatize
That's correct.
pharmacy and drivers.
And they want to build a 60-story building in downtown Oakland. And they're supposed to be a nonprofit.
Oh, I'm Charlene Thomas. I live in Oakland.
And how long have you lived in Oakland?
Oh, I've been in Oakland. Oh, God. Let me see. I've been in Oakland since I was 13 years old. And I'm 90 now, so add it up.
And you're here today at a meeting to talk about the protection of the port, about gentrification. How has Oakland changed since you've been here, and what do you think the future holds if it continues as it is going?
Oh, well, if it continues like it's going to revert back like it was when I got here. And the same people that left come back. They're back. Now, all the property around me has gone back to where it was before. So it's just turning around all the way around. All the people that lived in Oakland all moved out of the state, I call it out of the state, in different counties. So.
And this West Oakland used to be a center for working class community and working people and longshore postal workers. And what has happened to the community in this past 20, 30 years?
Well, like I said, they all moved away. It's called, I think people got tired of commuting. And they got back closer to jobs that's closer to their homes, instead of out in the suburbs.
And what is your relationship to the ILWU?
Oh.
You're wearing an ILWU t-shirt, buttons.
Now, hey, my dad, my son. So, hey, I've been in this union a long time. That's all I know, ILWU.
What does the ILWU mean to you?
It means an awful lot, because it was through educating my children, salary made possible for you to own a home, to get a comparable wage. It meant it was a part of our life.
So building a stadium on the port, what do you think, what would that be?
That's awful. Why you want to build it? Why you want to build a stadium where work is? Ships coming in. I don't understand it. So.
You think it's about money?
Everything is about money. Everything is about money. They want money, money, money. But then after a while, that money is not going to mean anything to them. You can have all the money in the world and it still won't mean anything to you. If you don't have to work, nothing here, but just a few people with money. That's the only thing that I can see and I look at the situation. But we're hoping that they can kind of cool down. Well, I noticed one thing. I see the property is not moving as fast as it was. Used to put it up for sale and it was gone today. Now it's sitting there for a while. So something is going on. So
this speculation, house flippers, has that been going on in Oakland?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Every day your mailbox is full of somebody trying to get your house. Where am I going to go? No, I'm staying close to the bus line. Every day there's a realtor that's knocking on your door and want to know if you want to sell your house. Oh, no. I don't want to sell my house. I'm close to the bus stop. I can take it from San Francisco. I can go downtown Oakland, all right on one corner at my house. So that's the reason why I'm staying put.
What do you say to the people of Oakland who are trying to struggle to survive? There are thousands of people in tents, and what does it feel like growing up here, being here most of your life, and then seeing all the homeless and the people in tents?
It was amazing to me to know that I went Emeryville, I went down the street and I looked and saw all of these campers out. So my son said, "Mom, you know why they're out there? Because they don't have any place to stay." Well, I look at my own neighborhood. If they offer this money to these people and they just jump up and leave, then they have to commute to come back to work. So I don't know the reasoning in it myself, unless it's just because they want a new house. But I'd rather an old house than a new house. Because, hey, I'm still standing in that one I've been in for 50 years. It was old then and it's still old.
That's your home.
That's my home. It's my home. I raised all my kids there, and then I got grandkids that came along. And I live right across the street from a school, and they all went there. So why would I want to move where I have to bus a kid? That's the only thing that I noticed about the area. So there's a petition that's going on in my neighborhood for the new people that's coming in, for them to keep the school open. They want to close that school.
That's privatization, charters. Give it to some charters.
Yep, charter school.
Were you aware that John Fisher's, the manager of the A's, Dave Cavall, is on the board of directors of a rocket ship charter school chain?
Right, exactly.
Some connection?
No, sure, I see the connection. But, like I said, I think if the people band together, they can, they can keep it going. Well, the little neighbors that's moving in, they're moving in with families. And they've already started with petitions to keep that school open as a public school. So we don't know how it's going to work out, but I was tickled to see them do it. And some of them, they're just not having their babies. And they want to be close to the school. So we are hoping that it works out. Of course, I have great-grandkids that go over there, because I have one to stand with me to go over there. Because her mom has to go to work at 4 o'clock in the morning. She can't send her to school out where she is. So she stays with me, and I just go across the street.
It's community schools. Everyone should have community schools.
Yeah, so mine went across the street, so I can't see them. They know they old, because I'm... So I was kind of thinking that the grandkids and the great-grandkids can go, But I think it's going to work out. I think the community that's there now is going to fix it.
Good morning.
Husband. No.
All of you, my name is Clarence Thomas. Everybody know that I'm not related to the other guy.
My name is Keith Shanklin. I'm the president of ILWU Local 34, and I'm here to oppose the building of a stadium down in West Oakland, but I am supportive of the A's staying in Oakland. I hope that our city council understands that we are not trying to move the A's out of Oakland, but we want to let them know that there's a promise here in East Oakland that we need the Oakland A's to understand that needs to happen. We cannot have a ballpark downtown Oakland and then leave a big hole out here in East Oakland that the A's already have.
And I was talking with Gabriel Prawl, who's president of the Clerks Local in Seattle, and he said that the stadiums there have created havoc for Longshore. They've lost maritime business as a result of the stadium's gridlock. Do you think you have the same concerns here if a stadium is built on next to the port or on the port land?
Well, I believe so. You already have truck traffic trying to receive and drop off containers over there at berth 55 and 56, 57, and 58. To include truck traffic and pedestrian traffic and extra car traffic would cause a gridlock. Nobody would get anything moved anywhere. All it would do is cause confusion and discontent. You'll have more people fighting each other trying to get to the ballpark than you would have entertainment going to the A's game.
And this seems like it's the lack of infrastructure. You have the Warriors opening up, and they don't have the infrastructure there. It's creating a great deal of gridlock and anger among people.
It's really a bad thing when you're trying to include the public in the interest of millionaires and billionaires whose only interest is try to make more money They're not interested in what the little guy think about. If they was interested, they would go over there in Shantytown, which is a mile and a half from where they want to build a stadium, and get those people out of those portable houses into some more substantial housing. Because did they go down and ask any of those people that live in those little shanties that they had to go take public showers if they want a ballpark, or would they rather have a place where they can lay their head and have an actual place where they can live?
So the issue of public housing for working people, for the homeless, thousands of people in tents, that is a priority. It should be a priority.
I believe so. That should be a priority. If you go under any freeway structure nowadays and look, you will see tarps, you'll see human waste, needles, you'll see people who can use a navigation center to help them launch themselves back into society. Mental illness has been a very big problem in the United States since Ronald Reagan opened up the doors and let all the people out of the insane asylum, which was insane in itself. But we can't blame that on just him, but we can't blame it on years and years of neglect and turning your eyes and to look away from the disenfranchised and look towards the people who have all the big bucks. We need to move put our focus back on the people of Oakland and not the A's interest in a ballpark.
Bridges got some people together, and my dad was one of them, and they went out and he said, sign them all up. Sign them with the union. Now this was hard because all the people that were on strike were mostly white, and a lot of them were very racist. So what happened was they signed people up, and it changed everything. Then they started going to the black churches, all kinds of things happened, and he said there was nothing more beautiful than what happened. He thinks that's why they were able to shut down the city. He really believes that, so I just wanted to make that clear. Thank you very much.
So my name is Steve Zeltzer, and I'm in the CWA, the Newspaper Guild of Rank and File member. And I think, we are streaming this. I want to thank John Peroulis on KPFA. I want to thank John KPFA for having this. Because all the working people in this country should see this event today. Yeah. It's not just about Oakland. Yeah. It's not just about the United States. Yeah. It's about the whole world. That's what we're talking about. Gentrification is going on in Paris, every city of the world. Working people, poor people are being put out. We don't need you anymore. That's what they're saying. We want to make our profit. So what we have to grapple with is that, unfortunately, in the labor movement, there's a problem. They just had raids of the UAW leadership for corruption, and their contract is coming up on the 13th. We need to mobilize working people so they take control of their lives and of this country. That's the only solution, really. We have an emergency situation. And there may be a national strike. But what I want to say is, on Monday, there's going to be a rally for the Kaiser workers. Now, Kaiser, the ILWU, are connected. Actually, I came out of the ILWU. My father worked at an ILWU shop, and I became a member of Kaiser a long time ago. Now, Kaiser is telling the workers that they have to outsource their jobs, that new hires have to come in with 50% less, so a two-tier wage. So there may be a national strike of Kaiser workers, 88,000 workers, and on Monday at Kaiser in Oakland on Broadway, they're going to have a rally at the park, Mosswood Park. And there's a flyer that the ILWU has put out to connect the struggle of the longshore workers against gentrification with the struggle of the Kaiser workers, and they are connected. They're very much connected because they want to destroy our health care. They want to privatize it. So we should all be there. We should support this struggle, and we have to say we have to stop business unionism. We cannot take our guidance from John Fisher and the billionaires of the world because they're taking us off a cliff. We have to unite working people on class issues, on working class issues. So let's go there on Monday. We'll have the flyers. Let's be there and let's say, look, stop it starts at 9 o'clock, Mosswood Park. Let's stop this privatization. Let's stop this union busting of our healthcare system. Let's unite working people against gentrification, and let's certainly stop the bust up of the Port of Oakland through privatization and the destruction of longshore and maritime jobs. Thank you, brother.
Two things to say. I'm a community organizer, like I'm to be an activist. But my thing is I'm truly upset because I live in West Oakland. And to see this come up is just devastating. And then also to see that this new apartments that they built in 1,000 of them or whatever behind West Oakland bar stands, similar to what they're doing over off of MacArthur. out of 1,034 units, only 85 is going for what they say affordable. But what is, like he said, Danny said, what is affordable? Come on now. You know, that's not affordable for someone making $50,000 or less. But my thing is that one thing, I want Mr. Thomas to explain it one more time, where we are at with this proposal. Where are we at? Okay? And then secondly, my thing is that if the Asian population said no, Asian population who live over there by Laney College, where they had wanted to put the Coliseum there first, what happened with that? Okay, so can you please explain to me those two things? I wonder, because if they could do it, why we can't?
First of all, let me tell you where things are at. The Oakland A's and the city of Oakland leadership haven't heard from us. That's where things are at. This is far from a done deal. Nothing has been approved. You have to understand that big money controls the narrative on the news. The A's want you to think that this train cannot be stopped. We can stop it, and it starts here. Everyone should sign those petitions. Sister, to really get to your question, we need to have a town hall meeting where the Oakland A's can answer questions and stop playing games. We also need to have the city council to answer questions. This is our tax dollars we're talking about. Now, the last part of what you asked, let me just run this down real quick to you. The A's explored the possibility of moving to San Jose. Major League Baseball said no. They explored moving to Fremont. Baseball said no. Then they wanted to go to Chinatown near Laney College. That was stopped by the community of Chinatown and also Peralta School District and the community. The former owner of the Oakland A's, Lew Wolf, when this proposal of moving to the Port of Oakland, you know what Lew Wolf said? It's not a viable idea. It's not a viable idea. I'm not making this up. It's not viable. And he was right. This is a land grab.
Lisa Milos, I'm a member, rank and file member of the University of Professional and Technical Employees of I work out of University of California, San Francisco. In San Francisco, we've seen a lot of what you're talking about, as many of you mentioned. I also want to say that I'm Chilean American, and as a Chilean, I will forever be indebted to the ILWU refusing to load and unload ships from the military dictatorship of Pinochet. But I also think we need to be aware of what exactly happened in Chile. They installed an economic model that now they're applying to the rest of the world, including the United States. The Chicago Boys economic model is run by billionaires that destroy unions, and they've been doing that for the past 20 years through the American Legislative Exchange Council. They've been doing that by using our union money, our own money, through our pension funds, which we're contributing to, which these billionaires have these financial asset management companies, and they're using our money against us. Blackstone Group, BlackRock, Johnson family, the Fisher family, all of these billionaire families are using money against us by funding our opposition in all the different kinds of communities where we're fighting for our homes, where we're fighting for our environment, where we're fighting for our land, where we're fighting for our schools. They're using our money against us. So we need to review all of our pension funds, and we need to look at that and start cleaning house and getting these billionaires out of our money.
Amen.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Susan Hammer. I'm also a union member. I'm with the American Postal Workers Union. And I want to very briefly thank Danny Glover for all his support and help. He's trying to raise the awareness of the challenges the APWU and other postal workers face regarding privatization. So thank you, brother. I
just basically have two other comments. When I first heard the A's were trying to build a bigger and better facility, the first question I asked was, when was the last time the A's actually sold out a home game?
Thank you.
That they need a bigger and better facility.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, courtesy of Mr. Google, the best I could find was July of 2018. So I want to put that on everybody's wavelength. Do they really need this?
No.
The other thing, they want to put in retail. We need another Starbucks. That's all I can think of, because everything else is closing. You can't open the newspaper, watch the news, and not be aware of the fact that all these major stores are closing branches, not opening them. So that's going to be a ghost town.
My name is Sue Yaskold, and I'm an Oakland resident. I want to really thank the church for having this, allowing us to meet in this location in the shadow of the Oakland Coliseum. And I'm here to speak on behalf of disabled. And 10 years ago, I wouldn't have done that. But thanks to the A's team, they have a team that the A's management hires to assist the disabled in the present location. They assist us in getting across the bridge that takes us from BART to the stadium, and then a team of electric car drivers takes us to our seats. In this new location, that's not going to happen. Even walking a block is difficult for me. Standing is difficult for me. But I'm not a season ticket holder. I go to maybe 5 or 6 games a year, but I love it when I'm treated so well by the A's team. But and I've spoken to Dave Clavel, and he doesn't listen to me, of course, but I'm saying, what are they doing for the disabled? And they go blah, 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 and I'm sure there will be a shuttle, and I'm sure that this will happen, and I'm sorry, but it's not. And I'm not supporting any football games or any basketball games anymore, but I'd still sure love to support a baseball game. And thank you so much for listening.
Thank you for your comments.
My daddy was a 50-year, I have his 50-year pin for the Plumbers and Seat Fitters Union, so go Union.
The daughter of a longshoreman. I am the niece of longshoreman, the mother of a longshoreman.
All right.
What I have to say to my community is we're too quiet. I retired from the city of Oakland. I always was active in my unions. Our younger people don't know the value of unions, the benefit we gain from people uniting together for the same purpose. That's why they can come in and say, we're going to move the Coliseum, which would be a disaster. The Coliseum, where it's at now, is the only economic base that we have in East Oakland. All we have in this area, no banks from Fruitvale to San Leandro, no major grocery stores from Fruitvale to San Leandro border. This cannot happen. There are children and older people who work the Coliseum who can walk to the Coliseum. What's going to happen to them? What's going to happen to the businesses that are supported by people who come to events at the Coliseum? It's a place of family. I'm a 16-year cancer survivor. Will they still have the A's cancer game? In September, some of the children get to go to free games. So it's like cutting off our nose to spite our face. I remember Cleophas Williams talked at my dad's funeral, and he told us a story about the union, the longshoremen before there was a union, before they had benefits. What those men would do on payday, if a brother had been out sick, they would pass the hat and put money in it so the brother could feed his family. We got to go back to that. We got to make more noise. And we got to think beyond what's just for me, myself, and I. This is our community. We cannot let this happen.
Hi, my name is Dominique, and I am an East Oakland resident, born and raised. I'm also a member of ACE, and we have recently started a Black housing union. We're trying to keep the people that's been here that look like us, because when we're out and we're meeting people, the homeless people, they look like me. Majority of them that I've came across. So we've started a Black housing union for people that are homeowners, who people are being wrongfully evicted. We're coming together and we're supporting each other, because we know that we have to come together to win. And we're holding a town hall meeting September 21st, West Oakland Library, and it starts at 12. And we hope that everyone will come out and support us. We would love to hear your story on housing or anything like that. And I feel like we will win, but we have to come together. Thank you.
And give Sister Fife our regards.
Okay, West Oakland Senior Center, I'm sorry, at 12 on September 21st.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Divya Farias, and I'm a teacher right up the street at Havens Court campus at CCPA. Thank you so much for Clarence Thomas and Bishop Bob Jackson for hosting. And I wanted to say that I think it's time to push for a partnership between my union, the OEA, and the ILWU. And I want to speak about two main reasons. The one is that the gentrification, we feel it in the schools, because it's every year a student moved to Modesto, this student moved to Tracy, because the students can't live here anymore, the families are getting pushed out. And the second reason that Brother Danny Glover brought up is charter schools. And if the connection between charter schools and the A's isn't clear enough, John Fisher of the Fisher family is the president of KIPP Charter Organization, or he's the chairman of the board, right? So we can see that the impact is just starting, and it's only going to increase from here. We already have 1/3 of the schools in Oakland Unified School District are charter schools. We have 24 public schools slated for closure in the next 5 years, and what's going to happen with those buildings? They're going to be charter schools. Right? Or they're going to sell the property for increased development. And so, we had a strike earlier this year, and the next strike has to be stronger, because we have to go out together. Because we got a little bit, we got crumbs, and the next time has to be more for our students. We have class sizes that are at 35. We have teachers that can't pay their rent. We have special needs students who don't have a teacher. And so I'm calling for a partnership between our unions. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Babak Mokhtari, and I live in Oakland. And I'm here to fight alongside all of you with all the causes that were mentioned today, because it affects me also. But also I wanted to mention that this fight, like Steve mentioned, is worldwide. Originally, I'm from Iran. All the workers in Iran are on strike, not a general strike, but from teachers, bus drivers, factory workers, retired. But when you strike in Iran, you actually put your life on the line. It's not like here. I wish it was, but it's far from here. I make it as brief as I can, but some of the people who started grassroots movements themselves got all the workers go on the streets and close the streets. They all have been arrested. They're all in jail with torture, meaning that with a telephone cable, they beat them on the bottom of the feet. They get 10, 20 years imprisonment just for voicing their causes. Some of them haven't been paid for a year or 6 months. And all they were asking to begin with was that. But when the government started cracking down on them, they went beyond. They said, we want our own company, our own factory be run by ourselves. You don't run it, we run it. They're privatizing it. One factory that has been making for years and years heavy equipment, construction equipment, everything. They are going to lose all their jobs because they're outsourcing it to China.
My name is Susan Kirsch, and I'm reminded of my father being a member of the Farm Labor Union back in the Midwest, back in the 40s and 50s. but I'm here today because I'm the founder of a group called Livable California. And I want to say that this has been an inspiring kind of event because of the union participation and being here in a church. But what Livable California has done is create a coalition in the 9-county Bay Area. And I can tell you that this fight that you're facing here is not a fight that's just in East Oakland, but this is the kind of issue that communities everywhere in the 9-county are facing because of this land grab that is happening everywhere. And I want to say I've written and had published, because we're working with legislators in Sacramento, I've written something called California Legislature Should Not Allow the Financialization of Housing. I'll be over in that corner. I've got a few copies here that I'd like to distribute, or talk to anybody who's interested in building these bridges between unions, neighborhood associations, and the work that's going on in Sacramento.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Gabriel Prawl. I'm the president of ILWU Local 52 in Seattle. I came all the way over here to support you in your struggle, but I want to reaffirm you that this struggle that you're having here in Oakland is not just happening here. I heard many people talking about it, but I'm experiencing it right here in Seattle, in the Soto district, right close to our port. I'm seeing that echo, but anyway, unlike what you experienced with the mayor of Oakland, I want to just reaffirm a statement from the mayor of Seattle. Mayor Jenny Durkin of Seattle wrote a letter to the Seattle City Council urging them to consider the importance of protecting industrial land and the diversity family wages jobs that are supported by them. Industrial lands are backbone to support family wage jobs and necessary to build inclusive economy for Seattle. Without question, housing and commercial development are necessary and have greatly improved many areas of our city, meeting the needs of growing city, creating vibrant neighborhood, and supporting thousands of new jobs. Land zoned for industrial use, however, support many good and diverse family wage jobs. At this present time, the Seattle City Council and the Martin Luther King Labor Council are supporting that the billionaire Chris Hanson build a stadium at the Seattle Center, which is away from industrial land. You know, I want to share with you one thing, and this is a quote from Harry Bridges, because we got to know that for us to win this battle, we all got to be working together as a movement. And Philip Randall wrote a statement one time saying, at the banquet table of life, there are no reserved seats. You get what you can take, and you keep what you can hold. If you can't take anything, you won't get anything. And if you can't hold anything, you won't keep anything. But you can take anything. You cannot take anything without organization. So we have to organize, we have to work together, and we have to win this fight for humanity and a better place in this world.
Davis, and I'm a long-term member of Oakland. My family brought me here when I was 2 years old in Oakland to work in the Army bases. And I am also an ex-union member of SEIU. I just retired from Alameda County and also City of Oakland. So I have seen the changes in West Oakland. I lived on 3rd and Woods, you know, and I see the changes now, and it's so heartbreaking to me within the city. And I was happening to go down toward Broadway just yesterday and saw a Target store being placed between West Grand, I think it's between 25th. And I said, what's going on here? You know, people out here are homeless, and you know, it's really heartbreaking to me because I'm a product of gentrification right now. You know, I lived in a beautiful 2-bedroom unit, 2-bath. I woke up in the morning, looked out at trees, saw squirrels, and saw bluebirds, okay? So I had to move because I couldn't afford to live. My owner wanted to move, you know, sell the unit. He moved me to another place. That's decent, you know what I mean? It's not what I had for 18 years, you know. But now when I wake up, I look under the bridge, I see homeless people. I don't see any birds, you know? And so what I'm saying is for me to have worked all my life, you know, to have to live in this city now that's falling apart for African Americans and low-income people, you know, it's a shame. We have too much land in this world, in the United States of America. You go for a long ride, you see nothing but land, 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 land. Why they can't build some houses and put some people out there? So, you know, it's all about money, big time money, and they're not looking at the everyday person. So when you look at a one bedroom, it's almost $2,000 for one bedroom. Then you look at a two bedroom that's 25 on up. Is that considered affordable living? You know what I'm saying? So what's going on here? We really have to get together. I'm just coming out of retirement. I'm ready to fight now.
Thank you, sister.
Raised my kids in East Oakland, still live here since '88. Originally from the city. I got to San Francisco State a little after Danny because I got drafted in '66. I worked for Johnson in '64 because he was a peace candidate, those of us old enough to remember, against Bang Bang Barry Goldwater. And then 2 years later, I got a letter from Mr. Johnson, and he drafted mine. But I made it through. I'm here. I just want to say, I remember a cartoon. Well, I want to ask one question. Do we see any politicians here? Any politicians here?
If so, they haven't acknowledged themselves.
All right. Well,
I just caution you, brother. We're trying to wrap it up. We got more speakers.
Okay. There's a cartoon I want us to envision. Remember the cartoon with the big fish chasing 1,000 little fish? In the next page, 1,000 little fish make an even grander fish and chase the big fish. And that's what we have to do. We have to chase the big fish. We have to create a place where working people run where they work and the community runs their own communities.
Thank you for your comment.
My name is Gabriel. I am a product of ILWU workers, great-grandfather, uncles, grandfather. My father is sitting right here. I want me to come up here as well, but I did want to pay recognition as well with potentially me becoming an ILWU member in the near future, hopefully. So I wanted to also say I'm an Oakland resident. I live in West Oakland. My family has lived in North Oakland. My grandmother currently lives in a neighborhood where her and her husband, which was the ILWU Local 10 worker, purchased their house for what we call today nearly nothing, and now she lives in $1 million neighborhood, and they are trying to get her to sell her home. I spoke to a representative of the A's during an event in West Oakland, and they expressed to me the project going forward with moving the A's to Jack London Square. Me and my son, which is 9 years old, I have periodically brought him down there to that area just for us time. It's super calm, super relaxing to look out into the water, go to the movies, and have a bite of ice cream. With this new infrastructure being or wanting to be put in place, I was just a bit concerned with my livelihood as well as my son's, as well with my neighbors, with talking about the drug problems in West Oakland, homelessness. We see it every single day. We see it on our doorstep every single day. And like the previous speaker suggested for us to come together, I just wanted to put my thoughts out there and my voice out there to say that I'm here with all of you guys.
Thank you, sister. We appreciate it.
My name is Ricardo Ortiz. I'm from Puerto Rico, and I'm an activist for independence and socialism in Puerto Rico, and I collaborate with Labor Video Project and Labor Fest. And also I have given my whole heart supported, as Clarence knows, to the fights and struggles of the ILWU. I'm also a Hurricane Maria survivor. I was there in 2017 to visit and celebrate my birthday, and luckily I'm right here with you. I witnessed all the destruction. I want to say that, brothers and sisters, we have to find another alternative to organize ourselves to fight against this system. The Democratic Party is a party that Warren Buffett and the Watson family, the plutocrats and billionaires, also support. Even Donald Trump has boasted that in the past he gave money to even Hillary Clinton. So the Democratic Party and the Republican Party are both parties of the rich. And we have to find an alternative, founding a party of the working poor, an independent party that represents us. Really, we the people can do it. I have been in general strikes. I was a witness how we in Puerto Rico got the criminal American Navy out of the island of Vieques, out of the island of Culebra, where they were doing the same things they did to the people in Hunters Point, polluting people and contaminating and making people sick. I just want to end with this sentence and this exhortation. We, the poor and the laboring masses of the world, have to unite. We are together united by the question of class. And the only way we can fight racism, sexism, and all kinds of oppression is if we overthrow our common oppressors. Let's found a workers' party in this country. Thank you very much.